Alright, a response video to Nick, the Modern Mystic, something for him to, consume with his breakfast, I guess. Yeah, really annoying video he made. Put my little timer on. Trying to make this a one-parter. Anyway, I'll play some of his video. But yeah, it's just like ignored the themes in the video. Just does this cliche, oh, it's all la-la fantasy bullshit. This argument that you have to do everything in one day. Somebody could say, oh, I'm going to put a man on the moon. And Nick would say, oh, you can't do that in one day. You can't possibly. Well, who said you do it in a day, Nick? That's your fucktarded standard. But anyway, let's go to the video tape.
It's just the way it is. It's the whole world is now that way. And I'm not saying I like it, but I've got no better idea.
Right, you have no better idea, and every other person that might suggest some way to do it, you're just poo-pooing on it. That's why you're just doing this dismissive crap. You're not arguing with why it can't happen. Your argument is, well, it's not the way things are. It's not the way things are. You can't do things not the way they are.
And that is what the world is. And to take it and change it into something else will be such a huge dislocation. It's unimaginable.
Yeah, I'm afraid it is imaginable. You do it one little piece at a time. We had this whole healthcare debate, and there was this thing called a public option. And yeah, we didn't get it. Okay? But if we got it, there's step one. Okay? You take it a bite at a time, and it's infinitely doable to take the idea that we can't have more efficiencies in how government spends money. I mean, it's been pointed out that the flaw in government employment is what? The employees have too much power. The government officials are government employees, and they protect government employees. Duh. The voting bloc of all these government employees gets to manipulate their own salary, essentially, to manipulate their job conditions. And the real fact is, though, it can't get too outrageous, because then everybody will try to be a government employee. But even there's lots of corruptions, because, if you're not networked, you're not going to get the job as a government employee, and blah, blah, blah. But that inefficiency can be taken out of government employment. And you're going to still create a business that's going to be infinitely more efficient than one that's owned by some capitalist who is demanding to suck blood out of every bit of the business. It's just a fallacy to think we need the owners. We need the managers. We need the people who know how to run the business. We don't need the assholes who own the business.
Well, how that dislocation would be. But just the amount of turmoil that would be generated by it, and for the world to go along happily with it, the dream would have to be so golden and wonderful and set out so clearly that everybody could follow the path.
Yeah, well, look, I think everybody could follow it, but obviously there's a vested interest. The moneyed interest owns the politics, so yeah, you got to fix the politics first. You have to put accountability back into the politics. So they can't play the games, and so everything is a more straight line, so everything isn't this huge compromise. So yeah, make the CEOs of all the public businesses election, have a yes and no vote every 1 year, and have a new election every 4, or whatever the game would be. And just because then the consumers would have the power to say, no, we want more from you, we expect more from you. It's just really not that complicated.
And there's nothing I've seen this weekend from the La-La-Landists that has convinced me that it would be worth dislocating the entire world that we've got now to go on this path of...
Yeah, it wouldn't be a dislocating the whole world we have now. It would be just as rational as building a Hoover Dam or landing on the moon or doing any of these other things. It would just merely mean that you're changing your priorities. It's no longer about rich people making money being the incentive for what business gets invested in. It would be about what is in the best social interest. Not in a rich man's interest, not in some perpetual paycheck for a rich man, but what is in the long-term interest of our civilization.
New path and new shining land. Because there's such great divergences from where we are now, everything has to change.
No, it doesn't have. Everything doesn't have to change, and you ignore the simple concept: consumer producer. Consumer producer. You want to get the most people producing, so you can have the most people consuming. I mean, it's not that friggin' complicated. So, and you just don't make up jobs. You don't just make work. You don't just say twiddle your thumbs, they'll give you a salary. No, you figure out what the society needs and you invest in it. And yeah, you don't print the money, you don't make it up. We all invest in it. We all pay a tax to create that investment in our own civilization, in our own ability to be productive, in our own ability to work, earn a salary, and consume. And you know, you sit there and took it to some stupid extreme. I'm not defending everybody having huge houses and we can just do it. But the fact is we can glean huge productivity, untapped productivity in this society, because it's left untapped because a rich man can't make money on it. Not because the person can't do productive work, but because a rich man hasn't figured out a way to make easy money on it. And it's always about easy money. It's not about the hard money. It's about the easy money. It's about the short-term money. It's not about the long-term investment. It's not about making money in the long term or waiting 10 years for your paycheck. These assholes all want to be paid today. They want their 12% now. And that's a stupid psychology to have making decisions.
One lot just says you can borrow money until you go bankrupt. Another one says you can just get the money to give out, the government to give out money based on nothing. And Gary says it's best. We'll kill the capitalists.
Yeah, no, I didn't. Look, I've used that rhetoric, yes, okay, just to get the war drums beating. But you know what I've advocated. You could take the money first out of inheritance. That's completely bogus. So any inheritance over $1 million for an individual or $10 million for an estate, no more of that shit. No more fucking foundations that perpetually pay the family members. No more of these canards and this bullshit. Okay, so the first money you take is the legacy money. All right, the money that was never earned, the money that's completely bogus, that has nothing to do with fairness at all. Completely, it's only based on nepotism, bad psychology, nothing society should be embracing. It's no better than racism. It's insanely stupid and insipid. So yeah, the first money you take is that money. You put it back into the system. You put it back into employing human beings to do productive work.
The slaves in China to keep building small stuff, but good, honest Americans can build big houses and everybody can live large.
I don't know why you don't get the fact that I have two hands here, Nick. You see these two fucking hands? They can do work every fucking day. They can do productive work. But they're not going to do it unless some, like I said, in this economy, unless some fucking rich bastard can make fucking money. Alright? And that's the stupidity of this economy. Because these two hands will be fucking wasted. They won't be put to their maximum potential. You won't get the best out of my fucking existence out of a fucking capitalist-run society. Okay? Because they will squander the value of the human beings. Because they won't be able to make enough fucking money off of it. You dumb ass. There is a smarter, wiser way to get the best potential out of human beings. If you had a fucking herd of goddamn horses or something, and you were going to divvy up carrots to try to get the most work out of that fleet of horses, you wouldn't pile all the carrots in front of 3 fucking horses and leave the others starving to death. You would say, well, that would be goddamn fucking stupid. I'm getting 3 horsepower out of my 100 horses because I put all the fucking carrots in front of these fat, lazy goddamn horses instead of putting the fucking carrots in front of all these fucking horses that can do all this fucking powerful work. I mean, you're such a dumb motherfucker. Sorry, but man, this is bullshit video. This is bullshit, rude, nasty crap. You're going to call my philosophy LaLaBullShit, and you're going to say you're not an insulting motherfucking ratbag? Fuck you! That's goddamn insulting, patronizing. Fuck, you deserve a fuck you for that shit, you dumb goddamn cunt.
We all want it in our dreams, but somewhere along the line, we've got this.
You obviously don't want it. You're just a naysaying, nitpicking, motherfucking up the ass of the rich bastard motherfucker. I would have a guillotine embroidered with your fucking name.
A nasty little thing called reality. It is where it is.
Yeah, the reality is consumption and production, and we're not maximizing human potential by allowing greedy motherfucking bastards to decide what gets produced and how it gets consumed. You're a dumb motherfucker.
Of where we are. Tomorrow morning is Monday morning, and people will be going off to work to earn a wage.
Yeah, and a big giant hunk of the population will go off to work to do nothing, or to go off to work to steal somebody else's money in a shyster economy we've built. An economy that pays people to steal other people's money. A big giant pile of middlemen and marketing and crap.